So today we start with a topic known as linked list. Okay. So basically, what is before we see what is a linked list, let's see why we need linked list. Okay, why we need linked list. So basically, like I told you, we are going to compare linked list with arrays. Okay. So there are some major problems or some basic problems with arrays, due to which they came up with the concept of a data structure known as linked list. So basically, one of the major disadvantages of your array is that the arrays are static. Okay, the sizes are fixed. So once you declare an array, okay, you can only use that size array. You cannot increase that size of that array dynamically. Okay, that is when you are taking input. Suppose you feel you needed a bigger size array, you cannot do that. Okay, because when you are declared the array before compiling the program or before executing the program, only that size of the array can be used. So that is the first disadvantage of the array. Secondly, arrays require continuous blocks of memory. Okay, so suppose you have declared an array of size size 7, that is from the index number 0 till index number 6. Okay, and just assuming that each array index requires one memory location. Okay, so here we have just mentioned, for example, some memory location. So I'm sure I don't know if you are aware, but each address in memory will have some number. Okay, so there will be some address associated with it. It won't be such a simple number like how I've given in this example. There will be a big number. Okay, so but just for example's sake, I've given you. So assuming that your array is stored starting from memory address starting at 5001. Then the array requires that all subsequent locations in the memory be also free. Then only it can be allocated. That is, it needs continuous memory allocation. So basically, I cannot store array index 0 at 5001, array index 1 at say some other location, say at say 6000. Okay, that's not possible. Okay, I cannot store like this, then the next one at 5000 again. Okay, so I cannot be storing the array indexes at random locations. So the first index at 5001, the second index at 6000, the third index at 5000, fourth index at 5004. It's not possible like that. Okay, so whenever you're allocating memory for the array has to be allocated in continuous memory locations. Okay, here I am assuming that each memory location that is required by each index is just one space. Okay, it need not be one space. It is just for you to understand the concept. Okay, it depends on the data type of the array. Okay, if this is a correct character array, then it will require one. If it's an integer array, it may require two. If it's a floating type array, it may require four. Okay, so just for example, I have taken here this one. The third major disadvantage is, suppose you are inserting new elements in an already, so there are some elements in an array and you want to add some new elements in the middle. Okay, not at the end of the array, but in the middle. Then we need to shift all the existing elements to the right. So for example, you can see here in this array here, okay, this array, there are 4 elements which are already stored. Okay, 34, 56, 67, 77. Okay, suppose I want to insert one new element here in the middle, in between 34 and 56. Okay, I want to insert one new element. Then I will have to shift all these elements, that is 56, 67 and 77 to the right by one place. Okay, so that means 56 will go here to this memory location, 67 will go to this memory location, and 77 will go to this memory location, like you can see here in this diagram here. Okay, you need to shift them by one place to the right, and after you have done the shifting, then you can insert the element 44. Okay, like it is shown here. So whenever you want to insert a new element in the middle of other elements, okay, then you need to shift all the elements, the existing elements to the right, like it is shown here. So this is another disadvantage. Similarly, deleting any elements requires shifting of the elements to the right. So suppose I want to delete 56, okay. So after I complete the deletion of 56, I need to shift the remaining elements one place to the left. So 67 will come in the location where 56 was there, and 77 will be stored in the location where 67 was there. So after 56 is deleted, these elements get shifted one place to the left. So insertion requires shifting to the right, and deletion will require shifting to the left. So basically these are the four major reasons due to which linked list came about. Okay. So the first reason was that the array size is fixed. Second was that the array size is whatever the memory location required is continuous. Okay, you cannot allocate random memory locations for the array. Third one was insertion of elements will require shifting of the existing elements to the right, and the fourth one was deletion of element will require shifting of the existing elements to the left. So due to this, they came up with the concept of a linked list. Okay, so with this, let me go to the what is a linked list. So basically, a linked list is a series of connected nodes. Okay, and it contains the address of the next node. So basically, I will tell you what is a node. So basically, node contains, by a node, what we mean is something like this. Okay, in diagram form, this is a node. Okay, so node will basically be containing two parts. Okay, there will be a data part and there will be a next part. Okay, now the names of this may be different. Okay, data part may be called information, it may be called info, something like that. Okay, similarly the next part may be called next, it may be called link, it may be called address, it could be called anything. I mean, they are just names. Okay, but you need to understand that with a basic linked list, the basic element in the linked list is a node. Okay, and a node will have two parts. So in the first part you store data. Okay, in the first part you store data. In the second part you store the address. Okay, address of the next node. So this will continue throughout the linked list. So basically this variable here, since it contains the address of another variable or another location, this variable here will be a pointer. As you must have studied in C programming, only a pointer can contain the address of another location or another variable. Okay, so most of the times or all the times this address part will be a pointer. Okay, so basically this is how your linked list will be in diagram form. So it will be containing a series of nodes. So this is the first node, this is the second node, this is the third node. Okay, all the nodes will have the same format or same structure. Okay, it will have two parts. Okay, it will have two parts. The first will be the data part and the second part will be the address part or the next part. Okay, then in addition to that, there may be a pointer, like for example it is shown here, there may be a pointer. Okay, again this is a pointer which will be pointing always to the first node of a linked list. Okay, so in this case we have called a pointer as head. So what is this head always going to point? It will be always pointing to the address of the first node. Okay, so this again, the name of this pointer could be anything. In this example here it is head, we could have called it P, we could have called it D, we could have called it anything. It's just a variable name. Then there are many types of linked lists. Depending on that, this address part of the last node, okay, could be null. Okay, why we put it as null? Because after this there are no more nodes. Okay, to indicate that after this is the last node, this is the last node of the linked list, and to indicate that it is the last node and there are no more nodes after it, there are no more nodes after this last node, this address part of the last node will be always be null. Okay, it will be always be null, except in one type of a linked list. There are different types of linked list, we will come to that later. Okay, so basically this is your linked list. Okay, so we'll come to how we can what's the advantage of this. Like I compared with you, I'll compare the array with this. Okay, so basically in this data type, okay, most of the times we can store most of the examples will store only a single value. Okay, it will store only a single value. Most of the times, most of the examples in the textbooks or on the internet will store integer values. Okay, but remember there are ways, if you understand structures you will understand that there are ways later where we can store multiple values. Okay, we could have stored here multiple values, multiple different types of data. Okay, I need not store only integer values, I could have stored character, floating, and so on. Okay, plus I could have stored multiple values. Okay, but most of the examples that even I will be teaching, it will be showing you a single value. Okay, single data, and most of the times it will be integer. So sometimes students then start thinking that only linked list can store only integers and we can store only one value. So I just want to specify that that is not the case. Okay, so that is one thing. Secondly, we had seen that arrays are fixed size. Okay, here the nodes can be allocated by your compiler as and when needed. So suppose you want to, you feel that in the at the beginning you need only 3 records. Okay, say 10, 20, 30, and you make a linked list only for these 3 records. When you start taking input, you feel there is a need for a 4th record. When you create a new node, you add a 4th record. Okay, you feel there is a need for a 5th record, so you can dynamically keep creating the nodes and adding the records. Okay, so how long you can keep adding the nodes, that depends on the how much free space you have on your computer, in your hard disk storage or in your RAM. Okay, how much free space that is there in your computer, till that much amount we can keep creating the linked list. So basically, like you know, your hard disk storage is in nowadays it's in TB. Okay, and it doesn't get over so easily. Okay, so you basically have a unlimited storage kind of. Okay, because for in terms of your linked list, so you can create unlimited number of nodes. Okay, so there's no size limitation on a linked list, depends on how much you want for your data, your input. Okay, so second thing is, so basically the size of your linked list is not fixed. You can keep adding nodes, you can keep deleting nodes as and when you feel. Okay, then I told you in your array you need continuous memory locations. Here your compiler need not give you need not allocate nodes for you in continuous memory locations. So for example, your first node could be allocated at the memory address say 5000. Okay, the address of this node is say address is 5000. The second node could be allocated at the address 6000. Okay, the third node could be allocated at the address 5500, and so on. Okay, so basically this address of the first node, this is the address part, like I told you, this will contain the address of the next node. So address of your second node is 6000, so this 6000 will be stored here. Okay, so therefore this arrow is shown like this. So there's a link between these two nodes. Therefore, we call it as a linked list. Okay, because there's a link between the first and the second node. Similarly, the second node will store the address of the third node. So the address of the third node is 5500. Therefore, there will be a link between the second node and the third node. Okay. Now, after the third node is no node. So therefore, here the address part will be null. So it will tell that there are no more nodes after this. Okay, that this is the end of the linked list. Okay, the address part will be something like this. Okay, and then you will be having the data, whatever data that you are storing. So suppose you're storing data as 1, 2 and 3. So this will be the data part, that will be the address part. Okay, and the first node of the linked list will always be pointed by some special pointer known as, in this case it is known as head. Okay, but there will be always some pointer pointing to the first node of a linked list. Okay, is it clear? If you are having any doubts, I will come to your doubts later on at the end of the class. Okay. So basically, like I told you, your linked list contains two parts. So in programming, how to create this? Okay, how to create this node having two parts. The first part is the data part. The second part is the address part or the next part. Okay, how do you do it? So we do it using the structures. Okay, so we create a node using structures. So basically, we give the name for the structure. So since it's a linked list, we give the name as node. Okay, this is the name of the structure. Okay, then we want two parts. Okay, so we want the data part and we want the next part. Okay, so what we do is data, we specify some data type. It could have been character, it could have been floating, it could have been integer. Okay, so for most of the times we will take integer. Okay, so give some data type for it. Then this address that you are pointing here, okay, that you are going to store here, you are going to store the address of the next node, like I showed you here in the previous slide. It stores the address of the next node. Again, this node is created by what? Using the same structure. Okay, using the same structure, the node structure is the same. Okay, the node structure will be same. It is having two parts, data part and the next part. So therefore, we are using the same name of the structure to specify that this next variable, okay, is also pointing to another node having two parts, data part and the next part. So the data, basically what we are doing, we are nesting this structure, this variable within itself. So basically we are telling here, in simple words I'm telling you, that this is the pointer. Okay, as you can see the symbol here, asterisk is put. Okay, since it contains the address of the next node, and I told you only a pointer variable can contain the address of another variable. Okay, no other variable in C programming is allowed to contain the pointer of another variable. Okay, so therefore we need to have here a pointer. Also, it is pointing to another node. Okay, so therefore the data type of it is struct node. Okay, so there will be two data members always associated with your structure of a node. One is the data member, okay, and the second one is your pointer, which will be of the type struct node. Then, like I told you, there will be always some pointer pointing to the first node. So that pointer pointing to the first node will be specified outside as a variable of this structure. Okay, so we have declared this pointer which points to the first node of the linked list as a variable of this structure. Okay, so that is mentioned here. So this will be a variable. Okay, so these are your structure members. These are your structure members, that is your data and the next, and this is your variable. These are your members, structure members, and this is your variable. Okay, so I hope you are understanding because I've already studied this in C. So if you want to access your members, if you remember your C, you cannot access the members directly. Okay, you need a variable to access these members. I could have declared here many more variables. Okay, I could have declared here many more variables. That is what I mean. I'm not going into your structures, but I hope you can remember. I've told you to revise also all these things. Okay, so please revise if you have not done. So basically these are the advantages of your over arrays. Okay, so basically one thing is like I told you, the size is not fixed. Okay, then if I want to insert and delete also, it is easier. Okay, I will show you later when we are doing the program. Okay, right now I didn't show you while explaining because it will be a little difficult for you to understand right now. But just take my word, I will show you later when we are doing the program how it is possible and easier to insert a node in the middle of a linked list, okay, or to delete a node in the middle of a linked list. Okay, so basically linked lists are basically used where there is need for sequential access. Okay, we cannot use linked list for random access. That is, whenever I start with the first node, then I can go only from the first node to the second node. Okay, from second node I can go to the third node. I cannot do access the data from the first node, then I want to jump to the third node, and from the third node I go to the 10th node. That way it's not possible. Okay, so in a linked list I can only go in a sequence from the first to the second, second to the third, third to the fourth, and so on. Okay, basically there are three types of linked list. The first one is known as singly linked list, which one we already saw, the one that I explained in the definition. Okay, that is the singly linked list. Then the second one is a doubly linked list, and the third one is the circular linked list. So we are going to learn later on the programs for all these types of linked list. Okay, so let's see what is a singly linked list again. Okay, I've already explained to you, but let's see what it is again. So basically, your singly linked list contain is a collection of nodes which has two parts. One is the data part, and the second part is the address part. Okay, so the address part basically points to the next node. Like you can see here again in the diagram. Okay, there's the data part, there's the next part. So the next part is the address of the next node. So if these are the addresses, say 100. Okay, as you can see, on purpose I'm not allocating continuous memory locations. Okay, so if these are the addresses of the nodes, then here this will be 200. Okay, address of the next node. Here it will be 150, address of the third node, and here it will be null because there are no more nodes after this. So this type of a linked list, whenever you see this type of a linked list, is known as a singly linked list. Okay, singly linked list. So just looking at the diagram, if someone gives you a diagram, how can you identify whether it's a singly linked list? Look at this node here. Look at this node, the last node. In the last node, the next part of the last node in a singly linked list will be always none. Okay, the next part of the last node in a singly linked list will be always null, always. Okay, then we could have had one pointer here pointing, which always points to the first node, and its pointer name is say head, or it could be pointer name could have been p, m, anything. Okay, any variable name you can give. The second type of a linked list is a doubly linked list. So in a doubly linked list, each node has three parts. Okay, so in a singly linked list, each node is having two parts. In a doubly linked list, each node has three parts. So the first part, okay, is basically a pointer to the previous node. Okay, so this is pointer to the previous node. Here, this is a pointer to the next node, and in the middle we are having the data part. So each node will be having three parts: a pointer to the previous node, then a pointer to the next node, and a data part. Okay. So for example, if these are the addresses of the nodes, okay. So here in the next part, it will contain the address of the next node. So the address of the next node is 200. Okay. So the address of the next node will be stored. Therefore, this pointer is there. Okay. Pointer to the next node. Because of this address is stored here. Okay. Similarly, like I told you, this portion is the address of the previous node. So what for this second node, it will take the address of the previous node. The address of the previous node is 100. Okay. That address will be stored here. So therefore, there is a pointer like this. Okay. So between two nodes, there will be always two pointers. One address to the next node, and one is address to the previous node. Okay. Similarly, here this is address for the next node. Okay, this is the next node. So here it will be 300 address to the next node. Okay, and here this is previous. So address of the previous node, that is 200. Okay, this is the way it will be stored. Now in a doubly linked list, in the first node, the previous node part here, since there is no other, since this is the first node and there is no other previous node, this portion here will be written as null. Nothing is there before this. Okay, so the previous part of the first node will be null. Similarly, in the last node, in the next part, there are no more nodes after this. This is the last node. Okay, this is the last node. There is nothing after this. So in the next part here, we will write as null. Okay, in the diagram I have just written n, but n stands for null. So basically, this will stand for null. So in a doubly linked list, you will always find null in two places: previous part of the first node and the next part of the last node. Okay, all other places, the previous and the next part will have some value, should have some value. Otherwise, you have not done your linked list properly. Okay, so this was your second type of a linked list. Going to the last one, the last type of a linked list. Again, like I told you, this linked list also could have had some pointer pointing to the first node. Okay, just like your single linked list. Every linked list will have a pointer to the first node. Okay, so it could have been called head or some other variable name. Okay, now whenever we label these diagrams, we don't put the asterisks here. Okay, but it is a pointer. You just have to remember that even if I don't put the asterisk, it is a pointer. Okay, most of the times or almost all the times I will at least not be putting the asterisk, but you just need to know, even if I put something like this, you need to know that this m will be a pointer. Okay, now coming to the third type of a linked list. In this type of a linked list, what is that? Okay, I didn't tell you what are the advantages and disadvantages of a doubly linked list. Okay, so before we go to the third type, now what used to happen in your singly linked list is, like I told you, you could start from only the first node, then go to the second node, then from the second node go to the third node. There was no way of coming back. I could go only in one direction. Okay, if I wanted to come from the third node back to the second node, it was not allowed. Okay, similarly from the second node I want to come back to the first node, I cannot come back. So basically I could go traverse. Okay, by let us use the word traverse. I could traverse only in one direction. Okay, from the first node towards the last node. I could not come back from the other nodes back towards the starting nodes. Okay, from the last nodes towards the starting nodes. That was not allowed in a single linked list. to overcome that difficulty, they came up with this doubly linked list. Okay, so in doubly linked list, basically what we could do is, if I would go from the first node to the second node, okay, because of this previous pointer, there was the address of the previous node which is stored here. It is to allow me to come back to the previous node. So I could go to any other node and then I could also come back to the previous node. But I can only go and come from to the adjacent nodes, okay, which are connected. I cannot just jump from the first node to the last node. This is not allowed. Okay, this is not allowed. I could only jump from the first node to the other next one which is linked, whichever node is linked to the first node. Similarly, I could come from this node back to the previous node wherever the link has been formed. Okay? So that was the major advantage of using a doubly linked list, where you could come back, you could traverse back if you needed. Disadvantage was, like you can see here, we require additional place or additional storage in memory to store this. Okay, you can see that this is the additional storage compared to your singly linked list. In singly linked list we had only 2 parts. Here in doubly linked list we require 3 parts for each node. So we require additional storage for this. So that was the disadvantage of your doubly linked list when you compare with singly linked list. Okay. So they came up with another type of a linked list known as a circular linked list. Now, as you can see, the circular linked list is similar to your single linked list. It has 2 parts. Each node has 2 parts, just like your single linked list. A data part and a next part. Okay. The difference comes in your last node. As you can see here, in the last node, there is some difference with your single linked list. So for example, if these were the addresses of your nodes, 100, 200, okay, and say 300. Then here we would be storing the address of the next node, 200. This would be storing 300. Okay. Now if this was a singly linked list, here we would have put as null. But this is not a singly linked list. This is a circular linked list. So in a circular linked list, the address of the last node points to the address of the first node. It points back to the first node. Okay. So what is the address of the first node? 100. So that will be stored here. So that is the only difference between your singly linked list and circular linked list. So basically, the address of the last node will point back to the address of the first node. Therefore, the address of the first node is stored here. Okay. So what this allows you to do is, when you go from the first node to the second node, from the second node to the third node, if you want to come back, then you can come back, not like this. This is not allowed. From the third node, you cannot come back to the second node, but you can go like this using this path. You can go here to the first node, and from the first node again, if you want to travel, you can travel to the second node. Okay. So having a circular link like this allows you to come back and traverse these elements if you need. Okay, depending on your application. So just like your singly links and a doubly links, again you could have had a pointer. Okay, so you could have had a pointer, like here it is shown, pointing to the first element of the linked list, circular linked list. Yeah. So basically, this is what we are, everything that we have to study as the basics of your linked list. So this is just like for you to understand.